Today we're going to look at one arm swings, snatches, cleans, the bottom position of these movements. So it's the same on all of them. We're going to teach it using the swing, but hopefully when you learn to do it with the swing, you'll be able to transfer a better bottom position into the other movements. Nikki's going to demonstrate the problem for us first, and then we're going to show you the fix, and she'll show you what a good swing looks like at the end. So she swings, and at the bottom you can see that her shoulders are kind of over rotating. Her right shoulder is a lot higher than her left shoulder at the bottom, which means she's not getting the tightness and compression, and she's just not going to be as explosive coming out of the bottom position as what she might be otherwise. All right, there are styles of swinging and snatching that use a similar movement, but that's not what we're doing, and when you do it with the hard style swing, you're stealing a lot of the power from yourself. So 3 steps to fix this. The steps are: find your bottom position, practice the bottom position using the chop and pop, and then to practice with low reps. There's some specific things to note that we'll look at later on, but first thing we're going to do is find out how to find the bottom position. So Nikki's going to hop into that bottom position, and I'm going to get her to reach through her legs as though she's got 2 hands on the bell. I'm going to put pressure. She's going to push up into my hand. I'm going to put my hand on her back, and I want her chest to be up. Yeah. And so she's pretty active there, and just looking through her eyebrows as she does it. All right, so that's her bottom position. She's actively having to hold it. I'm putting a bit of pressure into her hands and forcing her to do that, and that's going to make her lats engage and put her into a really nice, strong, stable position. It's not comfortable. You can see that Nikki wanted to get up and out of that because you are very tight in that position. So now she's got that idea. We're going to add some pace to it. So she's going to do that same thing. She's going to find that position, but she's going to chop and pop into that. So she finds it. Now she's going to hinge down, and I actually want Nikki to do the chop, so she's going to cut through her hip and then pop up. Another way of saying chop and pop that I quite like, because I feel like it emphasizes the top portion, is to say chop and lock. So chop is the chop going backwards, and then lock is that everything from her shoulders down is in that nice tight plank position. So just getting familiar with that without a bell is going to teach you what that bottom position feels like. Once you've got that feeling, then you go back to your bell and you hunt for that feeling again with one hand on the bell. So even though she's swinging with 2 hands, even though she's swinging with 1 hand, she's going to mimic the bottom position as though she's got 2 hands on the bell, or like she's doing the chop and pop, or like she's pushing against my hand. So do a couple of reps for me. And she's really just thinking about trying to feel that same feeling. All right, take a rest. So even that's probably too many. I'd probably go 2 or 3 reps max on one side. Now, if you find that you're struggling or you can't tell where you're positioned, then you might want to film yourself. But you're really hunting to see both those shoulders go level. One cue that can really help people is in that bottom position. If you imagine that Nikki's got headlights, so there's headlights that are shining over her shoulder, and what she wants those headlights to do is she wants both of them to be pointing 45 degrees in that bottom position. All right. So when you do that, when you've got the light shining down, if she has that rotation, so if that right shoulder flares out, you can see that the lights are shining away from the center, the road in front of her. So you want to have both shoulders pointing in the same direction. It's easier in that bottom position, so she's going to hop back down for me. Yep. It's easier in that bottom position, so do you mind if I touch your shoulders? All right, so if she's rotated like that, it's a lot easier to pull this shoulder down that way than it is to pull this shoulder up. All right? That's one thing to be aware of. The other thing to be aware of is what your other hand is doing as you swing is really important here. So as she hikes, if her hand flicks back, she swings. If her hand is throwing right back, it starts to rotate. Take a rest. So that the hand going back and around, it's really hard for this shoulder not to come with if that hand's flying back. You've got 2 options here. One is that you hinge back and the hand goes straight back, which takes a little more practice, but I like that once you're good at that, it helps to really load things. The other option is that rather than doing that, you go straight out to the side, and that lets you get the rhythm without having the same rotation. Play around with both and see how you go. You know, this is one of those things where getting a lot of low reps in is going to make a big difference to how you feel and move and do things in the long term. If you've done a lot of swings with rotation in them in the past, or a lot of snatches, whatever, you're going to find that this is going to feel weird at the start. Where you're going to get the real positive benefits from this is when you start doing it on your clean. It's going to tidy that up, it's going to make it feel a lot sharper, and you're going to make sure that your wrists feel a lot better when you've got that bottom position. It also translates into a better top position. So the 3 steps: find the bottom position, chop and pop, and practice with low reps. And then the things to think about are the headlights on your shoulders, the free arm, and it's okay for it to feel a bit weird.